Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 18, Building Corporations of the Origin of Freemasonry and Knights Templar by John Bennett. Building corporations. As soon as the colonists and the natives of Britain had been abandoned, they were driven first by the Picts, their savage neighbors, then by the Saxon sea robbers, into the mountains of Wales and the islands of the Irish Sea. The Artificers, who were converted to Christianity and who had remained with the legions, left the country, went with them, and having lost their connection with the mother institution at Rome, became thenceforth simply building corporations or Society of Builders. They retained the organization which had always worked so well and the name of Freemasons. Subsequently, in the 6th century, about the year 550, when the whole of England was taken possession of by Saxon invaders, the Britons, headed by monks and priests and accompanied by the Artificers, fled into Ireland and Scotland, which countries they civilized and converted, and whose inhabitants were instructed in the art of building. Whenever we read of the extension in barbarous or pagan countries of Christianity and the conversion of their inhabitants to the true faith, we always hear the propagation of the art of building in the same places by the corporations of architects. The immediate successors of the Roman legionary colleges for the new religion required churches and, in time, cathedrals and monasteries, and the ecclesiastical architecture speedily suggested improvements in the civil. In time, all the religious knowledge and all the architectural skill of the northern part of Europe were concentrated in the remote regions of Ireland and Scotland, whence missionaries were sent back to England to convert the pagan Saxon. From England, these energetic missionaries, accompanied by the pious architects, passed into Europe and affectionately labored for the conversion of the Scandinavian nations, introducing into Germany, Sweden, Norway, and even Ireland the blessings of Christianity and the refinements of civilized life. The religious contest between the original Christians of Britain and the papal power, after years of controversy, finally terminated in the submission of British bishops to the Pope. As soon as the papal authority was firmly established over Europe, the Roman Catholic hierarchy secured the services of the builders' corporations, and these, under the patronage of the Pope and the bishops, were everywhere engaged as traveling Freemasons in the construction of ecclesiastical and regal edifices. Henceforth, we find these corporations of builders exerting their art in all countries, everywhere proving by the identity of their designs that they were controlled by universally accepted principles, and showing in every other way the characteristics of a corporation or guild. In England, the fraternities of builders, or Freemasons, were subject to many adverse difficulties, from the repeated invasions of Scots, Picts, Danes, and Saxons, which impeded their active labors. Yet were they enabled to maintain their existence according to the oldest manuscripts extant. Until the year 926, they held that General Assembly at the city of York, which framed the constitutions that governed the English craft for 800 years. In that manuscript was found the following legend, which Freemasonry of the present day accepts as genuine portions of authentic history. The legend was given by Dr. Anderson in the first book of Constitutions in 1723, and afterwards accepted and published by William Preston in the following words. Edward the Elder died in 924 and was succeeded by Athelstan, his son, who appointed his brother Edwin patron of the Masons. This prince procured a character for Athelstan, empowering them to meet annually in communication at York. In this city, the first Grand Lodge of England was formed in 926. at which Edwin presided as Grand Master. Here many old writings were produced in Greek, Latin, and other languages, from which it is said the constitutions of the English Lodge have been extracted. It is that code of laws adopted at this General Assembly in 926, which became the basis on which all subsequent Masonic constitutions were framed. See York in supplement. The calling of this assembly proves that the Freemasons were previously in activity in the kingdom, which is, in fact, otherwise proved by the records of buildings by them at an early period of cathedrals, abbeys, and castles. But we date the York Assembly as the first known and acknowledged organization of the craft in England into a national body or Grand Lodge. After that General Assembly, the fraternity experienced, as in other countries, its alternate periods of prosperity and decay. For a long time, the York Assembly exercised the Masonic jurisdiction over all England, but in 1567, the Masons of the southern part of the island elected Sir Thomas Gresham, the celebrated merchant, their Grand Master. He was succeeded in turn by Charles Howard, Earl of Effingham, and George Hastings, Earl of Huntingdon, and they in 1607 by the illustrious architect Inigo Jones, who inspired great spirit into the lodges. Men, not architects nor masons, but eminent for learning, knowledge, or position, were admitted as members of the body under the designation of accepted brethren, hence the origin of the present style of the society, Free and Accepted Masons. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating towards the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.